see Freedom to Learn 5 years down the line?
I also have a lot of money since I'm connected with the foreign people unit.
Malai thagai lagyo, meaning I was tired. And somebody understood something about me being a cow. And they were laughing. So I understood afterwards, there's Guy. I must have missed.
Oh my God.
And there was lots of laughing and I didn't know why and felt really stupid.
This person must be one of the missionaries come to convert into Christianity.
Nowadays, running NGOs in Nepal have been a little bit more, complex, in terms of, policies and procedures.
So, okay, I'm going to face a challenge and now we can together be really empowered to work together. And that's why our 12-week, because actually now we're running a 38-week program, because sometimes within 12 weeks that we have learnt from a difficult challenge in the past.
No way, that's Welcome to another exciting episode of Working in Nepal and NGO's Perspective. Today, here on the show, we have two beautiful guests. One is Joey Owen, if I'm not pronouncing the name wrong. She is the CEO and facilitator, and of course, the coach and co-founder of Freedom to Learn. Similarly, we have another gentleman. His name is Shree Krishna Thapa, or you can call him SK Thapa, the CEO and co-founder, Freedom to Learn Nepal. Welcome to the show, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So let me start with Joy. So Joy, when did you come to Nepal this time?
The first time I came was in 2010. This time I came end of October this year.
Okay, so is it like, have you been visiting Nepal every year regularly?
Pretty much, but during the period of COVID, I didn't visit at all.
So what brought you Nepal initially?
SK. SK brought me to Nepal.
Okay.
So I was working on a master's program in North India doing theatre for development. And we were working actually it was a Tibetan-run school, but we were using applied drama, form theatre and different dramatic methods in order to transform the school community as my master's project. And I put all the information of that online, and SK and his colleague saw that and wondered if that format or something similar could be worked and developed together as a collaboration in Nepal. And that was in 2010. And then we came over, I think, for the first time in 2010. And we started working. Or was it 2009? I don't...
10, maybe 11, we met first time.
2011.
Yeah.
So 2010 was the initial
we were
email.
connected, we met.
Okay, so let me come to you, SK. So as she mentioned earlier, she was the student and pursuing her master's degree. How come you know her initially?
Okay, actually it has a long story to tell. I'm not sure.
Please, we have all the time.
I would be able to explain
Put it all the way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there is there is some reason behind we met, I think. Like I came from my original village, Kushadevi. Actually, I live in Kushadevi. I was grown up in the Kushadevi, and I started in Kushadevi school after my school education. I came to Kathmandu for my higher education. I was doing private school teaching. Then I thought it's not my passion. I went to I went some good job and started working with some development organization. Actually, I started Disability Human Rights Organization. I started my development jobs from there, Nepal Disabled Human Rights Center. And when I was working for there 4 years, with European Union funded some program, disability mainstreaming projects, and I realized that it was not my passion.
Okay, again.
Mm-hmm. Because I thought my passion is different. So I met one friend from theater, performing arts, theater background.
Mm-hmm.
He is Suresh Chand. And when I met him, we used to talk a lot about society, about theater, about arts, and then we thought I thought like theater or performance art area is my interest. Then we started. We Suresh and I made plan to work together, and we were looking for some more, people who have the same interest, similar passion in the area,
Okay.
working with performing arts. Then we were just doing the internet search, looking for different people, emailing, doing email with people. And one of my friend from NGO field, Mr. Durba Kimire, gave me email address of Joy, yes, and said that she would have some similar passion like you. And that evening, when I got the email, I came into our small office that we had already set up in Gaurighat.
Okay.
And then I wrote email. Okay, we are a group of this kind of youths who would like to work together in the theater field, performing arts field. Would you be interested to work together with us in Nepal? I wrote email, and we are connected.
Wow, that was quite a very different story than other people, because whatever people I've interviewed, for most of them, they have heard about Nepal through some of their relatives, or they have come here with the capacity of a tourist, like to visit there just to see the snake beauty, and they have been fascinated by the snake mountains. But in your case, it's completely different. So how was the initial experience of yours, Joy, when you come here for the first time?
It was exciting. I was used to being in North India, so the culture compared to the cultural difference with the UK, I was already kind of a little bit acclimatized to working in a different environment. But you're right, Nepal wasn't really even, dare I say it, on my radar. Hadn't occurred to me that it would be a place to work. How did I find it? Yeah, I found it really exciting because there was so much opportunity and scope. But I haven't ever been a tourist here. I don't know if I should admit, I haven't even been trekking. I mean, the highest I've been walking was to Tippling with SK for schoolwork. We went with the Gurkha Welfare Trust. So we had a guide who took us up there to do the work. But no, you're right. I've not been a tourist in Nepal. I would really like to be.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to one day having a holiday here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Not
sounds
just getting
like
exhausted
a
from
plan, huh?
Yeah.
So SK, let me ask you, when you emailed her, right, and then I think she accepted, probably. That's why she's over here.
Yeah.
So what was the story? Let us know more about that one.
Yeah, then when I got respond on the email from her, it was like, wow. Okay, someone responded.
Okay. What's the first person, the foreigner, whom you have emailed? Or have you emailed to multiple other persons for your cause?
No, it is like I have, that time I had emailed like some other friends, but who were in connection and who I knew.
But she was a total stranger.
Yeah. I didn't know anything about
Oh
her.
my God.
So, and I even didn't know that I would be responded by the I was unknown person to her, and I was writing the email and feeling a little bit odd, but still, I was following my passion and I wanted more people in a team. So,
And you just gave your try.
yeah, I did it. And when I got responded, yeah, it was amazing, oh, I think the way I selected is going to work, and exciting. Quite exciting. And then, yeah, we continued emailing and we plan to, work together.
Again, I mean, this is quite fascinating to me to think you are mailing to a random person. That could have been a spam as well, right? There are a lot of things, it could have involved a lot of repercussions as well. But Joy, what made you accept that mail? Was it like some sort of fluke or serendipity? Or is it like you have already there, I have to do this?
Yeah, I think there was a trust
Okay.
of something.
What was that actual
It was a long time ago,
essence?
Robin. I'm not entirely sure, but there was a trust that, oh, this is really interesting. They're interested in the theatre for development side of it. Most of the spam, did you call it spam? Those emails that you get, we still get lots of them. As a registered charity in the UK, you get a lot of emails like that. But none of them really dig into, oh, we've looked at your work and this is what we're interested in and this is why. And I think our values and our work ethic and our vision aligned so much. It just seemed the obvious thing to do, to reply and see what we could do through exploring a bit more about what might be feasible, what might be possible. Yeah, I liked SK's language and I liked the way he emailed and I liked actually you didn't mention space.
Yeah.
Because you had a small organisation and it was called Space. Now for me, holding a space for something is a really important part of our work. So I loved the name as well, which helped.
Okay, so the name of your trust, or I would say the charity, is like Freedom to Learn, right? So what was the inception story of this name?
Oh, well, the man I co-founded the charity with, I think really together we developed this name, Freedom to Learn. For me, it was really important because we didn't want to... I think in the way that I work especially, I don't want to impose anything. The idea is, like I said, holding a space. I mean, that's
so
what we do.
voluntarily.
Yeah, we create a space in order to open up opportunities or possibilities with absolutely the value that we hold that every human being is brilliant and has potential and the capacity to do all sorts of things if we create the right conditions. So there's a freedom in that. It's not like... we think everybody should go to school and behave in a certain way and follow a certain structure. So that's really where the freedom came. And learning, well, every day is a school day. I mean, we're lifelong learners, aren't we? That's really important. I think about everyone here in the NGO sector and certainly in the education sector. It's so important in life to remember to keep learning. So the two together, for me, were a no-brainer. They made a really good name, which we love.
Impressive. So SK, there's already Freedom to Learn. Then why Freedom to Learn Nepal?
Okay. So it also before when we met first, we were in Kathmandu. I had come in Kathmandu for my higher education. I wanted to learn something here, like to continue my education. So we that time we required a Nepal-based, organization to work officially. So that time we registered one Kathmandu-based organization. Joey already mentioned name was Space. So Suresh and me, we worked together. Suresh Chand, actually he is a Gurukul School of Theatre trained, quite experienced and very popular actors in the theater field. And we, both of us, along with another friend, Salik Pandari, we, three of them, and later we met Kunta Kharel, and we founded that organization, and we were operated by Space that time. When there was earthquake, 2015, I had to go back to my village because of devastation, and my own house was collapsed, and till then I had already lost my parents. So I had to look after my family house, So I thought I need to go back to my village. My passion was to give back something to my community and to my school, because I think if there was no school like Kusadevi School when I went there, if there was no Kusadevi School and that type of quality education in a government school I went, I could not be like that way. So
the way you are right now.
So most of my friends, after their higher education, they flew abroad for better opportunity. But I never wanted to go abroad. Actually, I think I'm an anti-trend person. People come from village they come to city, and from city they would like to go to Europe, America, or somewhere
abroad.
else.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to go back to my community and to work something, to give back something to my community.
Back to the roots.
Yeah, that's why I was looking for some cause to be back, and earthquake was the reason behind this. So when I saw every houses in my village were collapsed along with mine, and I thought I need to go back to my village. So from after earthquake, we went back to village, and we started another local charity. I mean local organization, Rural Community Foundation Nepal, RCF Nepal we say, and Freedom to Learn and RCF Nepal continued working together in the education field. But when we are talking frequently to harmonize our work, even through the names, so it would be much more easy, both effective, easy, and to communicate well with the everybody else,
and for the operational purpose as well.
Yeah, that's why also. And nowadays, running NGOs in Nepal have been a little bit more, complex, in terms of, policies and procedure, many new policies are formatted, many things, So we thought we need to make little more
structured,
more easier way of working, So we thought if we have non-profit sharing company, it would be more easier. Thinking that we register Freedom to Learn Nepal as a non-profit sharing company.
Okay.
So we are working like that way.
And if I may add a little
Sure.
to
Please.
First of all, there were a few things in there. First of all, SK was already working in Kushadevi, his village, from the city, because our initial project in 2012 that was officially funded, so we had we secured funding from the UK. One day a week, we were in Kushadevi school, your school, weren't we? So already you were contributing, so there was a good foot in the door locally. And if we're looking at timescale here, so that's in 2012 when we first started working in Kushadevi. Now it's 2024, and we have just registered maybe 10 months ago as a not-for-profit. And we've done the same in the UK. We've moved from a traditional charity setup to a CIO structure, really to be able to modernise and to be able to generate income, because fundraising at the moment is so incredibly competitive and much more difficult than it was in the past. There was one other thing, but I can't remember what it was. But I'm sure you have a good question. You can spark
definitely.
else.
So actually, I was quite intrigued to ask why Freedom to Learn. Why? What is the importance right now? Do you feel, especially in relation to your organization? Why do you think Freedom to Learn? Why we need that, especially when we have already a lot of organizations working here in Nepal?
Yeah, there really is a huge NGO sector here, isn't there? And believe me, we have asked that question many times. I mean, we also have talked about exit strategies. Are we really needed? Is there something we can do so we don't need to continue this very energy draining, sometimes striving to make a difference? And I think the reason that we're needed is that as far as I understand it, and you might know this much better, Robin, because you've been talking to lots of NGO leaders, but all of us, especially members of Brango, so the people that I know and the people that are in SK's network, and we've all worked together, we are all doing pockets of creating value, essentially, for the communities that we work in. Pahad Trase, they build a beautiful school. Global Action Nepal work inside the school and provide quality of the education practices that are happening inside. We are bringing curriculum enrichment and creativity to those environments. And the whole idea of Freedom to Learn's work here, both SK's organisation and mine, is that we ensure that a school community really is the thriving heart of the catchment area that it serves. So all of the people, everybody who's involved in the school, and that kind of ripples outwards. Now, if we're doing that in multiple schools, at the moment we have been working for the last 2 years in 38 schools across Panolti and Bethenchok municipalities, doing something that no other NGO is doing. So we're kind of slotting in and making sure that we're not doing we're not repeating or reinventing the wheel or just bringing in the same things, but we're doing something new and fresh and exciting. And there are new children coming into school all the time who haven't had that opportunity to really have a space where they can start to really think creatively, to get better and more confident at communicating, to learn how to work much more effectively as a team, to be, have some self-leadership. So I think for that reason, we are still needed.
Okay.
Not that I want to be, but we are still needed.
That was quite a diplomatic answer, though, I would say. Anyways, I have personally, seen Nepali people giving a lot of importance to people with Caucasian race, with this ethnic makeup. So have you ever been, have you ever had such experience where you felt, am I being treated in a much privileged way because the way how I look?
Robin, all the time. It gets uncomfortable. It's difficult, yeah, especially the more rural. I mean, you have to be really careful with the language you use around this, don't you? But sometimes, I find it very frustrating. Actually, recently, I won't mention where we were, but we've had that experience, haven't we? Serena, our colleague, fellow teammate Serena, you and I were talking, and the white gentleman we were speaking with really was paying me much more attention. So it was interesting that it wasn't a Nepali, it was the European man.
True.
And sometimes it's not always privilege, actually. Sometimes I feel quite uncomfortable and a bit silly and a bit out of...
Overwhelmed too.
I'm always overwhelmed, Robin. But I feel quite out of place. I feel like a fish out of water because my Nepali is by no means anywhere near where it should be. I still don't, even after 14 years of coming and spending so much time with Eske and his family and in our team and in the schools, I don't get all the nuanced little cultural things. And that can make my working life as a white person, it makes me feel I really stand out not in a positive way. Oh. So it's not always, it swings and roundabouts. It's different depending on the context, depending on the day. I get asked for money a lot. I haven't got any, Robin. I wish we had more money. And if I do, I want to put it into Freedom to Learn an Hour work.
Into much, I would say, called, employable field of study, more towards that, if you've got the money.
Yeah.
Towards a very productive work, which is like Freedom to Learn.
And work that I trust and I know and is really strongly evidence-based. But lots of people ask for money. Because of the color of my skin, I think, simply make assumptions.
I think they feel that they might consider that you're filthy rich, having millions of dollars in your bank. Where's your bank?
I wish.
So that brings me to the point, SK, since you've been working with her, or maybe two other people from, England or America, or from maybe that we call foreigners, the foreigners. Do you feel that is it easier to work with them when you have some issue that you take it to the respective administrative department, or is it easier when you are not with them but all by yourself?
It depends, it depends on how we go to the work. Basically what happens, as she explained before, I also have that kind of experience, like when I work with the foreign people, and many of my friends in my village think that I also have a lot of money since I'm connected with the foreign people. They come they come and stay in my house. And they might have, given a lot of...
You've been minting money from them.
Sometimes that makes me difficult, to live in my village,
Oh my God.
But still, what I'm completely stick to my, passion. And as I explained you before my story, later on I realized that my passion is education. Though my friend's passion is art, and my passion was, education. So I combine, theatrical expertise in taking into in the education sector. So my friend wanted more arts in the work, And I wanted more educational transformation, educational change in the world. So I merged that theater for development tool, and we use this as a tool to transform the education. And so now we have been working together very nicely, like.
So it's not about more than making money or something else. It's always about, like following your passion and then trying to make difference through whatever it comes, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, to create some values, to give back something to the
Society.
To the society and to the children who grew up like me,
Okay.
and also like establishing something like it is not always go outside from the country for having better opportunities. We can do something in our own place, I mean on the ground where we are. And I also would like to establish something like we need to care our the place where we are from, we need to give back something from where we came,
It's always about with the aim of giving back to the society where you hail from.
Yeah.
Also, so SK, right now in Freedom to Learn Nepal, how many people are involved in your team apart from her?
Okay, Freedom to Learn Nepal is now we have registered as I told you before that non-profit sharing company. There is a board of 5 people. So in the board we have 5 people, and Professor Nilam Kumar Sharma chair the board. And in our regular operation team we have one except me. There is lead facilitator who is Suresh Chan. I already explained about him. And we have finance and administrative officer. So Sarina, she spoke about her before, Sarina Maranda. And we have a facilitator, another facilitator, Yog Bahadur Thapa. And yeah, this is our team.
So bringing a lot of people into that team, or let's say maybe 2 or 3 at a time, it still involves a lot of logistic work and financial things also. So how do you operate that, or from where the funding comes in? People are always curious about that one.
Yeah, there are currently we are mainly collaborating with Freedom to Learn in UK, and Freedom to Learn UK raises funds in UK to different and we partners, and we get approval from social welfare councils for operating the funds, and we runs at the moment, but in future we are planning to raise some funds and to become sustained. We are planning something like community hub and operating some cafe in ancient Panauti city, and so that it could sustain our work. We are planning like that.
The agenda is to make it self-sustaining in the days to come.
Yeah.
All right. So Joy, now that brings me to a point where I would be definitely asking you about their fundraising thing. How do you guys do? First. Secondly, what is the major question, or kind of say a query that you come along every time you're involved with the fundraising thing, and how would you solve that? How do you collect it? What is the major questions of the donors or maybe the people involved with, who are donating to you for the charity purpose, and how would you solve that query to them?
You've really nicely reminded me what it was I forgot I wanted to say earlier, which is one of the reasons, and it was one of our trustees actually, Adam Bentham, who said it was very important for us to have the same name, because in all of our impact reporting or in all of our funding applications, we had to give the kind of spiel, as it were, about Rural Community Foundation Nepal and why it wasn't Freedom to Learn. So there was an importance there in branding as well as to why we have the same name, because essentially RCF and Freedom to Learn did the same as Freedom to Learn and Freedom to Learn Nepal. It's just that it comes under the umbrella now, Freedom to Learn. Fundraising, okay. How long have we got? Because
Don't worry.
Oh my
you
goodness!
have all the time.
Fundraising, Robin. I am so fascinated to listen to the other
I'm
conversations
all by my ears now.
that you have had
Yeah.
with the others about the other UK-based CEOs like me of how we manage to secure funds. At the moment, there seems to be this perfect storm, really, in the fundraising sector, like in industry in the UK, and I think that is partly because of Brexit and what's happened with the EU. Then we've had COVID and the cost of living crisis, multiple other factors. I won't bore you with them now. Most of the listeners will probably already know. So we're really looking at transforming the way we generate income by looking at really new, fresh ideas of how we can generate income through provision of services. So SK has been talking about working in your home community. And we didn't mention it before, but actually we also do that as part of Freedom to Learn's work. We have a sister schools programme. So I work in schools in the UK, 6 schools, where I run workshops and a couple of other volunteers. And children in the UK learn all about being global citizens, and they learn about Nepali culture, and the children in Nepal do the same thing with SK, so we celebrate each other's festivals. We also do environmental education projects in tandem with each other. So one of the ways that we're fundraising at the moment and looking to expand it is through provision of services in the UK. So whereas I have always done that as a volunteer, we're now expanding into new schools and charging as a service that Freedom to Learn UK provides. So we're creating value, and we're also earning money from that, creating that value, which we can then put into the important project work here in Nepal. And one of the other ways that we raise funds through that is that we get the children in the UK also running maths projects so that they can fundraise, which is a really nice way of earning some money. And we're hoping that will be more sustainable than what we've always done, and that's how we've got most of our money so far, isn't it? SK and I work really hard on impact reporting and developing fundraising proposals, which we put into trusts and foundations, mainly in the UK, although SK has sourced from other organisations, US organisations. We're still doing that. It's not as successful. And we also sometimes sell things in the UK that communities we know in Nepal have made and created. So for Christmas, we might sell beautiful felt items and so on and so forth, like I know many other organisations do. Talks, sometimes I give talks at local organisations and elicit donations from the people who are present. And sometimes we've also run events, like we hold a fundraising event where we cook a beautiful lunch for 80 or 90 people, and we do an event with the local school and they come and do a performance and people pay, and then we have the profits to put into Freedom to Learn Nepal. So it's kind of a multi-pillared approach to fundraising. And honestly, and I know we're in a podcast setting and I don't know who'll listen to this, it is exhausting and full of pressure and really tiring. And I know I'm not the only one that feels like that. And it's an ongoing, consistent responsibility. And it's a hard thing to sell. We're not saving animals, which seems to be a much easier thing to sell. We're working on creating value in a really nuanced, wide-ranging, kind of organic, long-term way. And that's a hard thing to raise money for, really hard.
Thank you so much, Joy, for talking the talk, actually. Most of the time, I feel that our listeners or people, the spectators, they merely think that, they're in NGO, I endure some kind of work and making money. They're actually printing money. That's how Nepali people think, right? Like they're literally minting it and living in a bungalow or in a luxury 5-star hotel kind of facility. But right now, I'm glad that somebody talked the reality. And I'm glad that you said it. It's really exhausting. Okay, so that brings me to a point where I would like to ask SK. So as I've already mentioned, in Nepal, the general perception is that working in INGO or NGO or some other developmental sector, this gives you, I don't know about anything, but definitely filthy rich amount of money. That's what they think on. So at the same time, they also comment, before working in NGO, he was living in this sort of condition, but overnight he started to ride the car, which is status symbol in Nepal, and then built maybe like 2-3 story building, and got into this and that. Have you ever been questioned that way, or what's your take on this one, regarding this general perception of people for the people who work in ING or NGO sector in Nepal?
Yeah, I agree with you. There is like people's impressions that when you like work with the NGOs, and obviously you will have huge amount of money. Yeah, you will have huge amount of like facilities and many things you will have gone with. For us also, people might have that kind of impressions. Also like what I feel, I think like I have established in the community where I'm from there, like people have like different perspective, like community can be served like SK's ways also.
Okay.
So,
change.
People have started thinking like, we are able to create some hope in the community, like if you don't have like any way out, let's go and talk to him, we might have some ideas. So that sort of thing, I think we were our work could establish in the community. Still it depends on the people, like what kind of like thoughts they have. Some people still are there who think like that way, like NGOs means like it's it's a source of dollars or pounds, like great source, but there are still some people who can take very positive way, like it's they connect our work towards creativity. They connect our work to like exploring ideas, creativity, and creating some hopes in the
So
community.
how do you take if somebody blatantly made that comment right before your face?
Yeah, I just take it easily.
Okay.
So it's their mindset, their thinking.
Oh my God. Such a brave man you are.
It's their thinking. What I'm doing. I'm just following my passions, and at least creating something positive in the community.
At least you have some stories to tell to your grandchildren.
Yeah, from where I have come. Yeah.
But also SK's leading by demonstrating.
True,
true. Over a long period of time.
Yeah.
So people in Kushadevi and across Panalti actually know what it is that Freedom to Land does and know what SK is leading. They can see. So it's grown organically, hasn't it? It's not like there's this big assumption straight away that I just landed on a helicopter with all my white volunteers with a bucket load of money. They know, I think generally now most people locally to us.
Oh my God.
No, that's not the case. They know we're just as in need of money as they are often for the work for our team.
Mm-hmm. So Joy, now another, I would say people are so cynical when they see, any foreigners coming to Nepal, especially with this NGO or INGO sector. They always have, some sort of, I would say, a doubt or a fear within them that this person must be one of the missionaries come to convert into Christianity. And lot of times, they have this sort of assumption. And because of this, even in the academic circle, I have felt that the, thing is not as congenial, I would put it this way. It's not as congenial for the foreigners. Have you ever been taken into that way? Or what's your take onto this sort of mentality of people who consider that the foreigners coming to Nepal are some way, trying to convert people?
Yeah, being sly. No, I haven't actually ever had an experience like that or anyone made that assumption. Maybe it's because I'm a little more uncouth than a proper Christian would be. I'm not sure. No, I've not come across that, Robin, no.
But why do you think these things are escalating? Even on a national newspaper, you just get to see commentary of people, right? And as they said, there is no smoke without fire. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, if that is the case, then it's really causing problem to the person who are actually working for a positive thing, right? So should it be let it go that way, or there has to be some proper things to let's get it done and dusted. Let's clear all the things out.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you bring this up, I guess, because I mean, our belief is that we always work on the assumption of positive intention.
True that.
I do have some, I said I didn't have any experience. I don't, in my own, people's perception of me. However, pre-earthquake and during 2015 and 2016, as SK knows, we did some work up in Mendel, just above Shebrabesi. And there I could really see the impact of visitors, of missionaries, although I'm pretty sure they were from Russia, from my memory. And that had I was being told by friends at Pema and Pasang how that had divided families down the middle and caused frictions where some had converted and some had not, and some had kind of found a middle way wrangling forward. So I'm interested in the cultural impact. I don't know if that's really answering your question, but I can't really comment much on other experiences of it. I don't know if you can, SK, because I've just not come across that so much in Panalti or Bethenchok yet. And I certainly haven't ever had anyone perceive me to be a Christian who's here as a missionary or wants to convert anybody.
So you've been working with Freedom to Learn for past 14 years, right?
Actually, no, we registered as a charity in 2004, but we were working as a sponsorship organisation from 1998. So Freedom to Learn has existed a lot longer than just being in Nepal.
Okay, let's talk about being here in Nepal itself, which is still 14 years, almost 1.5 decade, right? So has there been any sort of unforgettable memories or incident that you'd like to talk us about during the whole process? Like there must have been, I'm sure. We would love to hear that.
Me?
Yeah, regarding any sort of unforgettable memories. I'll be, of course, asking to him, but first to you.
I wonder which one would stand out. Yeah, there's obviously a huge number. I think I'd like to talk about Bina. Bina was one of our students in our very first cohort in 2012 we didn't call it Act on Education then, but our Act on Education program, which we were piloting and developing. She then, she was quite a key member of our Kushadevi workshop. So it was from SK's community, which we worked, I think, on a Friday of the weeks. We did 5 schools, one every Monday to Friday every week. And gradually, as a result of that, she really gained confidence. She was much better at her communication skills. She evolved, as a human being, as a really strong woman with really good character. I mean, I think the work enabled her to bring out like some of the best, most valuable parts of her personality. So then she went and trained as a teacher, and she came back and she worked heading up. She was actually the lead teacher of our model school program at Kushadevi School, which we used as a training hub for a few years. And she lived and worked with us in Kushadevi. So it was like seeing the full circle and coming back every year. And although now she has actually got married and has moved to Canada just last year, she really helped us create huge value in her community all together as a team, and we worked as equals. It was just a lovely, really rewarding, and it was something to really savor, that we could see the individual really grow in spirit and courage, and therefore be able to create so much value themselves from us planting that seed initially. So,
and nothing is much fulfilling than seeing a person from your side, or like growing into that sort of from what he or she was to what he or she is. Wow.
To flourish and grow.
True. True. So what's your side of story, SK? I mean, have you ever, you must have some sort of unforgettable, memories or people or incident apart from that one, of course, which you mentioned just now.
Yeah, there are a number of this kind of like success stories we have. Since we started working in the community, we have made up a large number of team members, and we work together with a lot of local youths. Like some of them came in our team as a model school program teacher. Some of them came with creative youth volunteers, and many many are there. Like there are some people who are really well empowered by our programs, by our initiation taken in the community, and also more than 500 children who got opportunity to be involved in under our model school program, which is like a kind of like primary level, like we tested a model to start creative learning environment. And like there are number of parents who came to us and said if there were not started this kind of initiation, their children would not have been able to get a creative learning like this. They would not have capacity to send their children to the private schools. And since there were no opportunity to go to private school, their children could not learn like that way. So there are a number of parents who sees me in the community and thanks for this kind of initiation.
So that the heart of gratitude is something means a lot to you.
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
see
yeah,
that
yeah,
when you're
yeah.
narrating that, I
Yeah,
can see that.
Yeah. Also, I would like to connect, like when we started working with the local community schools in partnership with us, and there are a number of other schools except Kushadevi. There are other number of other schools who are really thankful to our work, and they always welcome us in their schools when she might feel when atmosphere when we visit the schools. They are really welcoming, hospitality. They are really welcoming and always very happy to working together with us.
And their level of engagement in the work has really transformed over the last decade. Initially, getting into a school was really difficult to come with this idea of creativity, and creative education was quite new and there was some resistance, wasn't there? But now it's totally different.
And another thing I just remember another thing to add in the conversation. Like the most memorable or the most important thing that in the work we do with the children, when you first time go to the school, you find children like very hard. They even feel very shy. It's very hard to introduce
get
themselves. Even they don't like to
face
even their name.
Even they don't like to say their name. But we have a package of working together with more than 12 weeks.
Okay.
We have package of working together with the schools community. So after that package, they become leader.
Very impressive. Wow.
They become
now
leader.
that sounds like a success story, a real one.
Yeah, and the happiness in their face. Their confidence and their articulation makes us feel very, very much,
It's why we keep going, isn't it? It's why we keep going despite all the other difficulties. Makes it so worth it.
Okay, so now this is quite fascinating to know that how great job you guys are doing it on, and I really would like to take a moment to applause for every single work that you guys have been doing on. But with that being said, still, life is always not a bed of roses, rainbows and butterflies. So there must be some hurdles and difficulties that you might have faced. So can we just talk about the challenges that you guys have faced during the operational work or anything that involves with your freedom to learn thing here in Nepal? Starting with you, Joy.
Oh, well, there is one thing that does occur to me, which it's quite a delicate area. When you start, well, you may know from your other work, Robin, when you're holding a space for someone to express their experiences, their feelings, their emotions, and it's not something that they're used to, or it's not something that they can access in other areas of their life, sometimes that can have unintended negative consequences. Because it may be something through the drama work, for example, that is reflected back to an individual. I won't talk about specific stories, but there is one that comes to mind, but I don't want to publicly talk about it.
Sure.
But where someone has recognized, actually, wow, I have a really difficult life. This is really hard. And it hasn't had the okay, I'm going to face a challenge, and now we can together be really empowered to work together. And that's why our 12-week, because actually now we're running a 38-week program, because sometimes within 12 weeks that we have learnt from a difficult challenge in the past that some things can be uncovered, and there isn't enough time to offer that level of support that's required for them to then really grow in confidence in a very thorough, multifaceted, good foundational way. And that is a risk when you're doing this kind of personal growth work as well as community growth and community development. So we've had to really learn that the hard way at one point a few years ago. But we've adjusted and tailored our work accordingly to make sure that we really are aware of that and we're ready, so that if difficult, say, traumatic experiences arise, we have a bank of people we can count on who can come in and support and offer services that way. It's like opening a can of worms and then not having the skills or the team or the resources to know what to do with all the worms. So that was a big challenge, I'd say, because it's not one that can be overcome with just money. It's something that has to be skillfully done with people who are qualified in a really professional way.
With a lot of delicacies.
Yeah, a lot of delicacy. Yeah, and
I can see
care
that.
and tenderness. Yeah,
True. There has to
and
be some sort
slowly.
of empathy also.
Yeah, a huge amount, and across the whole team as well.
So now, SK, since I know I can see the chemistry of both of yours, you guys have been doing amazing work together. And I mean, at times, it must be some challenging for you to deal with foreigners. So what do you think, one thing that you want foreigners, whoever are coming to Nepal, needs to learn about Nepal while working for a developmental sector, according to your experience? One thing they should be knowing. I mean, like how you wish they could have known, it would have been easier for them and of course for you too.
Yeah, it's quite difficult question for me actually.
Okay.
At the moment, the most important thing I think they need to know about, just to find whether they are connected with their objectives. If their objectives, the work done with the groups where they are coming to see either they match or not, that thing I think like it should be harmonical, like the work done in the ground and the work they are coming to connected are if it is the what they are seeing or not. I think that's the thing.
So to Joy, the same question, like let me put it this way. If you have to, guide people or suggest people who haven't yet come to Nepal but would like to come in the days to come for the similar kind of work, maybe for the developmental sector work, what suggestion would you like to give them if they have to make some prior preparations to come up here so that they wouldn't feel that they are lost in desert?
Lost in a desert.
Yeah.
So lost in a mountainous desert. I think don't rush in. Mm-hmm. It's so easy. I'm quite a heart on my sleeve, open-hearted person who will rush in, and I think there's the kind of fools rush in, and then as I just explained, learning from the mistakes we've made, and again, if I'd known, what SK was just alluding to about relationship building, be prepared. Yeah. For really nurturing those relationships, good relationships, do the groundwork, understand that it's the long view that really matters. It coming in, and I mean, at the moment we're, a small part of our work is the flood and landslide relief at the moment, and its provision of stationary packs is one of the things that we're doing alongside a much more, I think, meaningful program called Healing Hearts, which anyone can look up and fund, by the way. But one of the very quick fixes is, there's lots of children who have lost all of their things right now. As we speak, they are living in neighbours' homes or living in shelters. And so one of the things that we can do with relatively little resources is provide stationary packs. True. And that's great and it's fun. But when you go and you provide a stationary pack and then you bugger off, how helpful really is it really, in the long term, if you're going to come here and commit, really commit. Don't just drop in and think that you can fix everything quickly or fix something and go, because often, you can provide moon cups for menstruation, for example, or you can provide iPads, but if no one's going to use the moon cups and there's not power or any expertise on how to use the iPads, it's kind of, it's so difficult to say, isn't it? Because I know it's all with such positive intention, but it doesn't have the impact. It's kind of pointless work. I think what you have to come to be prepared to do is really hard groundwork over the long term. And if you do it, it totally makes your life. I mean, it's like SK was just saying, if you do it and then you're here to see
that's quite,
children evolve.
Like, give me a question. Like, most of the time, this is also people's grudge. They always kind of like complain for whatever NGOs, INGOs. They basically, gives you a packet of something as a relief and then take pictures and post it in social media.
Yeah.
And all they do is that's all. Now there is no follow-up. There is no like impact. How impactful was it? There is no, I would say, after research or let's say the analysis. So that has been one of the blames that is constantly put on the NGOs or INGO. In this place, where does Freedom to Nepal stand?
Okay, so we have quite clear direction towards that thing. So first of all, we are working from where we are from. So we understand the community we are working, one thing. Another thing, we don't like to go to community just as someone who comes with large amount of resources, large amount of money, and we have that capacity, and we go and we just give them and make clear, solve every problem of them. So we just, where we go to work, we want, we are like them, and we want them to feel like we are also like them. So we organize different kind of, workshops, like fun workshops with them. We play games. We do some classroom activities.
It's more engaging.
More engaging.
More into there.
Yeah, as a part of our work, and we like to give, we distribute the materials as a reward for working together. So not as an aid, just we are handing them and taking
pictures
photos
and done. It's
yeah.
not that.
It's part of an ongoing process.
Yeah.
And we only work in the areas now. This is something we learned and evolved into. We now only work in the areas where we've got staff living and working and where they are from. So Bethanchok and Panoti, that's why we work there. All our team are local. They all live amongst the communities that we're serving. We're all part of the same community, bar me, not me. But,
now, this question is particularly to the CEO and co-founder, Joey Owen. So where do you see Freedom to Learn 5 years down the line?
Oh, well, first of all, CEO, you reminded me of a brilliant term I heard a few days ago. I shared it with SK. It's Chief Everything Officer.
Okay, not executive.
We are Chief Everything Officer. Right, well, we have a reasonably clear vision. And that is that we have. So I talked earlier about the thriving heart, the schools being the thriving heart of the community. What we would love is for Freedom to Learn to be the thriving heart as an organisation of the education sector in Panoti and perhaps in Bethanchok too, but certainly in Panoti. And we've rented a building recently, and we're setting up over the coming months a community hub where we can serve everybody locally who can come and do a lot more of the curriculum enrichment activities, and exciting things will happen out of that community hub, all serving all the children in the community, so not always just going into the government schools. So that's one thing that we really hope will be a very visible, very exciting kind of mini empire in Panoti Old City. And even if we could get there's two kind of neighbouring buildings, we would love to open an arts centre and a theatre, and run that really as an income generating community service in order for us to continue to do our theatre for development work, our confidence building work, and our teacher training. We also do school governance training. We have quite a multifaceted approach to each school we work in, depending on resources at the time. But we hope that all of that work in Panolti town will then be able to create enough profit for us to run those really important projects in the more rural areas. So in 5 years' time, I would really hope that will be a well-oiled machine. Like we hope. That's the vision. Yeah, that's really the vision.
Right? Yes. And I suppose he pretty much answered the part of Nepal's chapter 2 regarding these things. Like, let's say Freedom to Learn Nepal will also be going simultaneously with the vision that you just shared.
Freedom to Learn Nepal will essentially be leading it, and Freedom to Learn UK will be providing the initial resources, consultation, volunteers, expertise, that sort of thing. We're absolutely a symbiotic relationship. One of us can't survive without the other. We work really hard to make sure it's equality in the organisations and the CEOs. And you just said, Joey, the CEO. Well, we have 2 CEOs obviously sitting here.
Simultaneously.
SK is absolutely Chief Everything Officer in Nepal, and we work absolutely side by side.
Now,
so he will be leading.
I have heard people complaining, and I somewhat also feel this one. Most of the times, the foreigners. This question is to both of you. Anyone can answer this, okay? So most of the times, they say that a foreigner comes in, takes the picture of Nepal, the remote one, the underprivileged one, and portray it to the foreign world. And from there, they milk in the money and then kind of like, do a poverty porn thing. You know what I mean to say. So what's your take on this one? How true is this? How should it be done? And how much truth does it contain? If not, then what is the case? Maybe.
Would you like to jump in?
I think you
you better.
This is is a consistent debate actually amongst our board in the UK as well. I very much land on the side of showing impact, happiness, joy, fun, project work that's really happening and great. And this is why Freedom to Learn is brilliant, and this is why we would love your money to enable us to keep doing it. However, I wouldn't say it's been massively successful in generating a huge amount of funding. So there is another voice now sometimes in our kind of a strategy for communications and fundraising is perhaps we should be showing a little more. Recently I have done some videos showing guys in the UK, our supporters in the UK, you need to see this reality. Like you're giving us some money, but actually we're not earning enough money to really serve these children. Look at their completely destroyed homes, and yet they're still coming to school with nothing. We want to improve this. You can help us do that. You can help SK, you can help Freedom to Learn Nepal do that. So it's it's a really delicate balancing message, because poverty porn, as you say, absolutely exists. It also sometimes generates money, which then in turn does good. So it's really complex, it's convoluted. What do we do? And we have to always assume positive intention. We want to believe we're doing everything we can to do the best possible next thing. So I think depending on circumstances, and it's really easy to make these sweeping statements and create, nice titles like poverty porn. It's just a really difficult minefield, really, to find your way through, especially as someone with a white face who, essentially I'm okay. I don't earn very much for my work. That's a warning to anyone who wants to go into this industry. But I'm okay, and I might be showing through any footage or any communications we do people who are not. And is that okay? So obviously we have very sturdy, I think, policy and procedure in place for permission. We don't just take photographs of everyone and then post it on Facebook. We don't do that. We're an education organisation. We have quite strict regulations that we adhere to. But it's a really difficult one. What's your take on it, SK?
Yeah, we are quite sensitive in this area. Always we are already on the ground following the child protection policy. Taking when always and every time we take photos, we take approval from the teachers, children, and if someone who doesn't like to be in the photos, we don't take. So we are sensible.
At least you are doing that with a lot of responsibility already.
Yeah.
That was quite.
We do our best.
Yeah,
I think
that at least that has to be the approach for sure. All right, then, too much of serious talk. Now this brings us to the end of our serious talk. I would like to add a little bit of spice to our talk by adding this rapid fire round.
Oh my goodness!
And
you didn't warn us.
Yeah, right. Don't worry, you're good enough already. Yes. So first of all, I would like to go with SK, and I'd be asking some of the light-hearted questions to him. Then I'd be jumping to you, Joy, with of course fun challenges, engaging knowledge, testing questions too. So with your due permission, shall I proceed, sir and ma'am? All right, to SK. So SK, what's your go-to English phrase? The one that you use most of the time.
Oh, English phrase. I don't know.
Really? So is it like sale roti or pizza?
Is this for me?
No, it's for him.
For me?
Yeah.
For me, pizza.
Oh, pizza. Oh my God. Okay. So mountain life or city life, which one do you prefer?
Obviously, I like rustic life.
Okay. All right.
You see my Facebook bio.
I better check that out again.
That's
So if you have to suggest one place for a foreigner, he or she must go at least once in their lifetime in Nepal, what place would be that?
Jethanchok Narayan Than.
Your own village promotion, huh? Okay, so what is the funniest misunderstanding you have had with foreigner due to language barriers during your work?
Oh, it's quite difficult questions, again. Sometimes I lost the, speaking when they speak fast.
Watch out, lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
I speak very slowly. I don't know what you're talking about.
Quite a defense. So, what do you think one Nepali festival a foreigner must know and why?
Tihar.
And why?
Because this is a festival of lights
Mm-hmm.
and colors and brotherhoods, sisterhood as well,
Okay.
Yes.
Balanced.
Yeah,
Balanced. Okay, which area of Nepali society do you think you would be working as NGO's worker, if not then this one that you're working on right now?
I think, like social entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship you'll be working on, or
Yeah.
entrepreneurship for that
Yeah,
matter in
yeah,
British accent.
Yeah.
All right. And if you have to suggest one film for a foreigner from Nepal to understand Nepali society, what movie would you suggest?
Oh, the movie, Nepali movie.
Yes.
Maybe Swarga.
Which translates as heaven.
Heaven.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now, what is that one aspect of Nepali culture do you think the world should know about that they don't have, but we are very proud of? One aspect of Nepali culture.
Oh, Nepali culture. Little puzzled. Maybe like coming together and celebrating together. Even still, there are some like gaps with the relations.
You mean to say the importance of human relationship,
Yeah,
like
human
how much
relationship.
we prioritize it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a rapid fire, sir, so you better not answer it in a long way. Okay, now last question to you. If you have to suggest one Nepali food for a foreigner that he or she should try, else their visa should be cancelled, what food is that?
Oh. That could be the. I haven't. I haven't.
You don't like such authority.
Well, it would be interesting, right? That's a promotion of the food as well.
Milk and rice. That's it.
Rice pudding.
Yeah,
Oh, rice pudding.
yes.
Okay, which is called kheer in Nepali. Okay. Anyways, that was nice. Thank you so much. How did you do? You think?
I think singers, he had no warning. Very good.
Oh my
Very
God,
well.
that was
I like the
quite a
connection.
backing
answer.
up, huh?
The connection is true.
Okay, the radar is upon you, ma'am.
Oh,
Now,
gosh, okay.
you ready? Now brace yourself.
I'm braced.
And the question's coming. Ta-da! Okay. So, what's your go-to Nepali phrase or word?
Kitaina.
Which means?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's okay. No problem.
Which Nepali dish would you eat for the rest of your life?
Oh gosh, that's really horrible. You're asking horrible questions. Well, if I had to, it would just be a dal bhat and sabji.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Mountain life or city life? Which one feels more like home in Nepal to you?
Did you say mountain or city?
Yeah, mountain or
mountain.
city.
Mountain.
Yes.
Or with a coffee shop somewhere nearby. Or my own coffee.
Such a coffee girl.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you tried mama dipping sauce that's too spicy to handle? The dumpling mama sauce.
Have I tried it that's too spicy to handle? Yes,
Yeah.
of course I have, yes.
Where?
Panauti.
Oh, that's nice.
Recently.
Okay, if you could rename one place in Nepal, what would you call it?
Oh, if I could rename it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to rename anywhere. That feels like some kind of cultural, like very
You
inappropriate.
don't want to come under the scrutiny of
Not
people.
really,
Okay.
no.
What is the funniest misunderstanding you have had due to language barriers?
Oh, okay. I think I said something along the lines of "malai thagai lagyo," meaning I was tired, and somebody understood something about me being a cow. And they were laughing. So I understood afterwards, there's Guy. I must have missed.
Oh my God.
And there was lots of laughing and I didn't know why and felt really stupid. Yeah.
So how do you describe Nepali traffic in one word?
Chaos.
Oh my God. Ouch.
Oh, sorry.
It hurt somewhere in here.
Okay, hang on. I'll eat it back. Patience.
Okay, thank God. That was a better one though. Okay, now name one Nepali festival and its significance that you know.
Oh, Tihar. To go for the same one, of course.
I'm not
Festival
giving
of
this one.
Light.
I'm not giving this one. You already said
Oh, I did
that.
a different one. Another one I know. Oh, Holi.
Okay.
It's fun. It's chaos. It's celebratory.
In a
It's
good way.
enlivening.
Okay.
It's colourful, obviously.
Now this one is not so no-brainer. Which one historical figure in Nepal do you admire and why?
Oh, wow. Historical figure
figure.
in Nepal do I admire and why? I liked the resilience of the lady whose statue is just down here in Tabil. What's her name?
Pasanglam.
Pasanglam Sherpa. Oh,
Yeah.
very
I like
smart.
her resilience and
Very
perseverance.
smart. I was expecting you couldn't answer this one. Not bad.
Remember,
huh?
you said yourself, 14
Yeah,
years coming to
yeah,
Nepal, I
come
have to
on.
know something.
Now this is quite difficult, I suppose. What's your understanding of the word dharma in a Nepali context?
Oh, Dharma is the teachings of a ritual or understanding of the teachings, but in Buddhism, yeah, not in Hinduism.
Playing very safe.
Oh, am I? Is it true? Is it
Yeah,
correct?
okay, I can give it to that. Which area of Nepali society do you think NGO can make the most impact in and why?
Oh, I don't think that's a question I can answer because I think it has to be a really holistic, multifaceted approach.
Oh, you could
because
have-
one can't survive without all the others. It's
You could have said that the one that we're working on.
education. I could, but without any other infrastructure, it's not going to function well, is it?
Very
Won't make-
realistic, though.
Yeah.
Okay, now, can you name a Nepali hero or heroine from folklore or legend?
Oh, I'm not actually sure I can right now.
you
He's
better.
got me.
You
Damn.
better. What is one aspect of Nepali culture do you think the world should know about?
Yeah, relationships,
The value.
humanity, connections, and the longevity of that. And the
Okay.
nurturing of that over time. It's not like a...
Now, this is a fun
Anything
challenge. Can you sing a line of a Nepali folk song you have heard recently?
Resamfiriri,
No way, that's
Resamfiriri.
Oh, can we just try once more
No.
because I disturbed that?
I think once was enough.
Okay. Now, if you have to describe Nepal in 3 emojis, what are they?
Emojis,
Like 3 emojis.
clapping hands.
Okay.
Actually, it's a sad face at the moment. Our lives are quite difficult at the moment. And sunshine.
Thank God.
On
A
rainy
relief.
day.
Relief. You are my sunshine. My
yeah.
only sunshine. Who's your
Exactly.
sunshine, by the way?
Sorry, which?
Who's your sunshine, by the way?
Who's my sunshine?
Yeah.
I have 2, my children.
Oh my God, thank God. I was expecting you would say, ask me no secrets and I'll tell you no lie kind of thing.
Oh,
but
I really
you
should have
better.
done that. That would have been funnier.
Okay, if you were a Nepali spice, which one would you be and why?
Spy.
Spice.
Oh,
S-P-I-C,
spice.
spice.
Oh,
Not spy.
chia.
Not
Chia mixed
spinach.
spice.
Yeah, mixes.
Yeah, not
Okay.
espionage.
Okay, now you have to try pronounce the name of this place, and you'll have to go after me. Okay, Tamil.
Tamil.
Actually, pretty good. Oh my God, just a round of applause. Very nice. Siangja.
Siangja.
14 years. I can give that. Bhaktapur.
Bhaktapur.
Very well done. Okay, so that brings us to
Dhanyabad.
the end of our segment, and we have almost come to the end of our whole sessions too. But before we go, is there something that you'd like to share or tell or request our audience or viewers? If there is anything you'd like to share, then you can.
I think this space is really valuable. I mean, the fact that we've come to have this conversation today has elicited really good conversations between SK and me over the last 48 hours to answer some of the questions, to think about what you might ask us, to do a little deeper exploration between our relationship. So the fact that you're holding this, we're really grateful for that. It's a brilliant idea. I don't know whose idea it was, but it's a really good idea, and I think something that will in itself create huge value for the NGO sector. So thank you.
Yeah, really, like working in a low profile, like working from the community, like from the grassroots community is less valued, like if you have a like high profile working style, like fancy, like office and that kind of things are well valued in our context. I think like that way. So you invited us from our ground of working and let us opportunity to talk about all these things is really I would like to thank for you and your team, all the team, for this opportunity to share our things.
Okay, thank you to both of you actually for arranging your so much of, I would say, hustle and bustle of the city. Still, you managed to come up here, and I do understand that our NGOs workers are so much into their job that they barely have some time for themselves. Yet you managed to come up and let us know about your organization, about the phenomenal work that you guys have been doing on. We wish you nothing but absolute, positive, I would say, wishes for all the good endeavors that you guys have been doing on, and wish you all the very good luck for you to in the days to come as well. So thank you so much for joining us for today. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dhanyabad.
Thank you so much.